Good morning, everyone. It's pretty good and lively for an early Monday morning here in Washington, D.C. I just flew in last night, and I'm happy to say, I don't know, where are my Minnesotans in the audience? There's one. That's good. Chris, that's good. Good, Chris Parsons. That's good. Minnesotans love to talk about the weather. We especially love to talk about the weather when it's bad. And so everyone in Minnesota is just like, we're like, I'll just leave it to say we're glad we're out of town right now. So I'm so happy to be with all of you this morning with the International Association of Firefighters 2018 conference. And I want to say first, thank you to General President Harold Schaepberger. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And it is a great joy to be able to follow my friend and colleague, Mayor Elizabeth Couts from Burnsville, a fellow Minnesotan. And Elizabeth, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I heard you. I'm there for you when it comes to making sure that the federal government is a strong partner with local governments on safer grants and other ways that we can help make sure that firefighters have the resources that you need in order to do the jobs that you have. And let me also just, as a local prerogative, I want to extend a special thanks to my friend Tom Thornburg, who's over here from Minneapolis and the 5th District Vice President, and also to all the Minnesotans in the room, especially Chris Parsons, the president of the Minneapolis Professional Firefighters in Minnesota. So I'd like to begin just by thanking you for your service. I have learned in my life that when there is an emergency, firefighters are the ones who run towards trouble, not away from it. You know, I saw this firsthand when I was Chief of Staff for the Mayor of Minneapolis. And I'm thinking about a particular day in August of 2007, and I was on top of the tallest building in Minneapolis, and the cell service was not very good, and so I didn't have like most chiefs of staff, I always have my phone right with me. But somebody tapped me on the shoulder and they said, Tina, they're trying to get in touch with you. The 35W bridge has just collapsed into the Mississippi River. And I turned and looked, and from that vantage point, I could see the whole city, including what was now just a puff of dust and smoke, where the river and where the 35W bridge was. And I could see for myself that the third busiest bridge in the state had fallen into the Mississippi River. It was an incredible thing to see in the middle of rush hour. And in minutes, the first responders, not only from Minneapolis, but from all of the surrounding agencies, did what you do. You rush towards trouble. The Minneapolis Fire Department and emergency responders from all over the region were there within 6 minutes of that bridge collapsing, even as people were trying to process how it could be that in this great country, a bridge could collapse into the river. And when I think about what it takes to do your job and what it takes for your families to watch you leave the house every day, knowing what you're going to be up against, I think of that moment. But I also think of all the moments that don't get nearly as much attention as that particular thing. Just 2 weeks ago, a firefighter and an IAFF Local 390 member in Virginia, Minnesota, rescued a woman who was hanging from a second-story window. Now, thanks to the bravery and the hard work of firefighter Jim Hipple and his crew, that woman survived. So you show up every damn day to do your job. And it is my responsibility as a senator to make sure that the federal government stands up for you. That's on me. So you can count on me to be your partner here in Washington, working to make sure that you get the support and the benefits that you have earned and that you have deserved. And that includes the pensions that you have earned and that you paid for. So I want to touch briefly on two of my top priorities for this Congress, which are about protecting your health and protecting your right to organize. Now, last year, as President Chaitberger said, "We passed the Firefighter Cancer Registry Act, which helps track the risks that firefighters take when you go to work every day." I worked with my fellow Minnesota senators, Amy Klobuchar, and the Trump administration to pass this bill, which creates a national cancer registry for firefighters so that we can understand better the connection between the exposure to toxic fumes and the health outcomes that you're experiencing as firefighters. And I'm also fighting for better and more access to mental health care services for firefighters. Today, we lose more firefighters to suicide than to line-of-duty death. And this is unacceptable. We need to be able to talk about and to reduce the stigma around mental health in this country amongst all ranks. You put your lives on the line to serve our communities, and I know that that takes a toll on body and on mind. So I want you to know that I am committed to make sure that you have access to the quality health care that treats both. And I'm working to help make sure that healthcare providers integrate mental and physical health care together. So let's work together to eliminate the stigma associated with seeking mental health care treatment. Will you work on that with me? Now, I'd like to talk for a minute about the right to organize. Let me be clear. When unions like IAFF and others have the power to bargain collectively for better working conditions, better wages, better pensions, we all do better. We all do better. That is the bedrock. That is the bedrock of the middle class in this country. And don't be confused. There are efforts afoot to slowly, gradually erode that. Make it go away, because that is about, there are people with a lot of power and a lot of money who want to make sure that you have less power. And I am going to stand against that every single day that I am in Washington, D.C. Every single day. Now, when I was a young woman and I had my first job, I worked for a company that was trying to get itself up and running, and the owner of the company, there's like a lot of companies, had struggles. And the owner of the company came to us one day and he said, you know, things are not going that well. And so I am going to ask you to work for free so that my company can keep going. And I felt a lot of loyalty to my employer. I suspect that a lot of you in this room feel loyalty to your employers too. And so but I was like, damn, I can't work for free. I went to talk to my dad about this, and my father said something that I never forget. It informs me to this day. He said, Tina, some people have money and power and, you know, good for them. They earned it, maybe. Maybe they were born to it. Some people have money and power, but the rest of us, what we have is the work that we can do. And sometimes we have to fight for the value of that work. Sometimes that's what we have to do. And that is the value, the core value that I bring. So when I think about the Supreme Court decision last year to weaken the ability of firefighters and teachers and other public sector employees to organize, well, that Supreme Court decision was wrong, and I am going to be your partner to fix it. I'm on a Senate bill that would overturn that disastrous decision by guaranteeing that all public employees have the right to organize. And I want you to know that I'm going to fight like hell until we get that done. I also want you to know that I know that this, for many of you, service as a firefighter is not the first service that you provided to your country. And I know that many of you have served in the armed forces. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for that service as well. There are so many ways that you have contributed to this country so that we all can do better. I want you to know that I am your advocate here in Washington. You can reach out to me anytime at all with your concerns, with what you need. Tell me what we're doing that is working. Tell me what we're doing that isn't working. And we will continue to be partners with you. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the cookies and the coffee that I've enjoyed as I've visited fire stations all across Minnesota, and I look forward to working you for many, many years to come. Thanks so much, everyone.